Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV. I'm your host, Matthew Duffing, for tonight's Operation eMotorsport iRacing League. It's round 5, and we're on British soil. The British roller coaster, in fact. Brands Hatch Circuit, the Grand Prix layout here down in Kent. What a track, what a place, and what a bit of racing you're about to see this evening. It's going to be an absolute beautiful, beautiful race, to say the least. This is one of Britain's best circuits, second best circuit in my opinion, that is on the iRacing platform. It is fantastic. Maybe third, actually, construction's just been added, but it is a fantastic place to come and watch a bit of motorsport. It is going to excite you tonight, and I tell you what, we've been to a lot of American tracks. We've got a Canadian track and a couple more American circuits coming up to finish this season here on Operation Motorsport. But the one on the British soil is an absolute beauty. Midway through the season, and I couldn't be more happier to see this one on the calendar. Qualifying has just got underway, a 10-minute qualifying session for all of our drivers to try and get round and put a few laps on the board, as well as maybe try and take that pole. In the 4 categories we have tonight, we've got the Pro Ben category with Tyler on his own in that one tonight. We've got the Open category at the moment, 11 drivers in there. The Ben category with 9 drivers, and then we've got the Pro category with 6 drivers out there. And if we go back to last week, of Laguna Seca, it was an interesting race a week ago when we spoke to a couple of the Acura drivers there who were saying that they fancy their chances round Brands Hatch, could suit the car a little better than a few of the others. Well, this is their chance to prove that right, and see what they can do. Qualifying well underway though. At the moment, it looks a beautiful day here, as you can see by the weather forecast on the side of your screen. It looks a glorious day. A chance of rain in the air, it's saying, but we'll have to wait and see what comes our way through this one. That would completely throw a spanner in the works as we are into this qualifying session here at Brands Hatch. And lovely little circuit this to get to grips with. And it's a tricky one, catch you out, especially in this Grand Prix section of the circuit. It has the 2 layouts, the Indy circuit and then the Grand Prix circuit as they come through Hawthorns down into Westfields now. A tricky corner to get right, easily to go off track on the exit. Through Dingle Dell you come, downhill back up towards Sheen Curve, blind Apex as you come up and over the crest in towards Stirlings. You see in the Ford Mustang doing a stellar job. Through Stirlings you go, you've got a short run now as you head down towards Clark Curve into Clearways. They kind of merge into 2 corners where the Indy circuit would be its last corner as well. Clark Curve, go wide, Going to be interested to see what the boys on iRacing do here. Normally you see them wanting to take a nice tight line over that pit entry. You might see that as the qualifying comes to an end, but the GT3 drivers at the moment opening the steering up through Paddock Hill Bend. We go there, as we can see, up towards Druid. Absolutely great scenes here. And you just see, look, just over the start line there, that Mustang in the background, kind of right. You really want to keep it as tight to the pit wall to finish your lap as possibly can. The shortest run to the line. It's going to be an interesting one to see here at the moment. And this is down the order in the open category. We're on board with Manning at the moment, and as you can see, Tyler Manning currently on provisional pole with a 1:23.143 at the moment. Fastest lap out there out of everybody, I do believe. No, sorry, it's a 22.8 by Jean McClawn in the open category. Got my words out there eventually. Riding in the Porsche, great car for this circuit, I have to say. Really will suit this track nicely, will that Porsche 992. An absolute beauty for around here and up over the hill. Onto that Grand Prix section, there you go again. Down Hawthorns Hill. You'll start to see them tumble, and you can pretty much see why it's called the British roller coaster. It is up and down, left and right, and it will throw you all over the place as they flick it through Westfields there. Hawthorns there. Now down into Westfields. Got to get that apex right. You can kind of cut the inside curb of that apex here, especially in qualifying. Through Dingledale, up towards Sheen now. Again, a lot of curb you can take on this inside line. Really be greedy with the curb at Sheen there. And Sterling's a little tricky one to get right. You can easily run wide, carrying too much speed on the exit of the corner as you come down towards Clark Curve then to complete your lap. Is it going to be any better though? That's going to be the question. Here is Ken Copeland, second place in the category at the moment. Only a 10th, just over a 10th off the back of that provisional pole. Wide entry into Druids there. Very interesting to see. Normally it's a tighter line through Druids. Now down into the Graham Hill Bend. Again, another easy corner, but you can at the same time get it horribly, horribly wrong. And Copeland there backing out of a lap, it would seem, to let the traffic behind go past him then as he comes in towards Surtees and to get back round to start another flying lap. Halfway through this qualifying session though. And we're going to obviously go back to our sponsors for the Operation Motorsport for Season 10 of the Operation Motorsport iRacing League. We're beyond excited to kick off another incredible year of racing, and this season we've got something very special. New for 2025, we are proud to announce that Operation Motorsport beneficiaries racing in the Pro Beneficiary and Beneficiary categories now have access to the virtual coaching using Trophy.ai services. This partnership is designed to help these incredible competitors refine their skills and become even more competitive on the track, all while boosting their confidence off it. This initiative supports the eMotorsport diversionary therapy program, which creates a thriving, supportive community for medically released service members, medically retired service members, and veterans with a service-connected disability, as recognised by the US Department of Veteran Affairs, or Veteran Affairs Canada. It's a space where the participants ranging from active duty to veterans can come together, train and race in an inclusive virtual environment. This season, we have 15 Operation Motorsport beneficiaries competing, and we couldn't be prouder to have them on the grid. Let's show them some love as they continue to break barriers and redefine what's possible in the world of eMotorsport. Thank you for your continued support from our partners CrowdStrike, Michelin, and obviously that of Trophy AI as well. Absolutely fantastic to see there. Apparently I've got a fan in the YouTube chat, Fury's granddad, aka Tony Bates. Good evening to yourself, Tony Bates. You told me about 2 hours ago you was going to bed. I assume you've woken up just to watch Operation Motorsport. That's going to be a beautiful one to see, as Jonathan let me know that you was there. Tony, great to see you in the chat. Great to have everybody in the chat as well. Let's hear from you. And see if you're going to be enjoying tonight's racing. We're coming to that back end of qualifying now, 7 minutes 13 on the clock, and it's really looking interesting. If we look down at the pro category, there you got McClawn currently on pole, just over a 10th from Ken Copeland. That's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. There, the Porsche leading the way in that one. He's just about to finish a lap time. Let's see what he's going to do as he comes towards the line now. Going to be an interesting one to see if he can improve, and I don't think there was any improvement. No, just a little bit down on his last lap, so really being consistent at the moment. This is the only driver in the Pro Ben category at the moment, Tyler Guillemette, so far for Fishing Racing, car number 5. He'll be the sole driver in that Pro Ben category. Obviously, these drivers are racing in categories against each other, but they're also racing each other on track for overall positions. There is no overall championship. It is all based on the different categories. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on throughout tonight. The open category, then Tyler Manning leading the way in the open field, and he's leading that one by just 0.04 of a second. That is a very fine margin to Tyler Reid. Tyler Reid currently sat in pit lane though, and he's not going to get another lap in from here. And in the beneficiary category, it's Ian Carney in a Porsche once again, who is leading that way by 0.5 seconds over his nearest challenger there then of Nolan Uke. Interesting there to see that one. I'm just looking at where the Audi is of all, and I actually can't see it. So he is obviously not here for tonight's race. That is a shame to not have him out there on the circuit. Tony telling me that he is correct. He'll probably be correct, I assume, in terms of he's tuned in for the action around this Brands Hatch track tonight. Final minute of qualifying then. Drivers coming towards an end on their laps, and what will be for these drivers, but a 22.659 just been done by McLaughlin in that Porsche in the Pro category is the fastest time outright here this evening. The second quickest time to that one is that actually of the Ford Mustang of Guillemette in that Pro Ben category with a 22.8, which actually put him second on the overall grid at the moment. And as you can see there, the timing tower just changes to an overall view for us. That's fascinating to see, and that's where we look. In that top five, you've got one driver at least from each category. Tyler Manning there in the Open Series category, and in the Ben category, Ian Carney in his Porsche P5 overall at the minute. So in that top five, at least one driver from each category is in there. The Acura, top Acura, probably my favourite car out there on the grid, the NSX P8 at the moment overall. Robert Schwenkler, he's got to pick up the pace a little bit, just not far off the pole, 0.5 second from pole at the moment. He's on a flyer so far as well, and we'll have to wait and see what he can do. Where's he just come in? That's in through Westfields then, down through Dingle Dell now, up through the hill is that of Schwenkler, up over Sheen into Sterling's now, as we're going to see what he's going to be able to do. He's up on his time at the moment, so this could be an interesting lap from this of Robert Schwenkler here, then in towards Clark Curve and Clearways he comes now. There's Clark Curve, now Clearways. They kind of merge into one. Keep it tight, tap pit wall, hold that Acura down as low as he can. He is doing, he's going to come to the line. Any improvement on his time? He does improve and goes to a massive P3, just 0.3 off the pole, and the Acura there saving his best till last. Couple of drivers finishing their laps as well as qualifying quickly comes to an abrupt end. As here comes Tyler at the moment. Where is he? Just coming through Dingle Dell now, up towards Steen Curve. He comes for his final time and the final run here, and that looks a little slow, so I don't think he's going to be on an improvement this time around. Here is one of the Corvettes, should I say, going into the pit lane. That was Brandon Leonard there, then coming into the pit lane in his Acura, sorry, not in the Corvette, in the Acura there then, and there's the Ford Mustang once again of Kyle Shelton down the order. P8 so far in that open category with a 1:24.691. Going to be an interesting race, this is for sure. 1 hour race, 45-minute race, 1 hour race, can't, off the top of my head, can't remember what it is. 45 minutes. Thank you to our producer in the chat there, Jonathan, for helping me out, because I'd completely forgot what length it was. Going to be a cracking night worth of action, that is for sure. You're not going to want to miss a single piece of this one. It is going to be an absolute fantastic evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're watching in the world, piece of drama. If you haven't gathered by now, yes, it is just me, solo all night. Apologies about that when you have to put up with me dribbling on for the whole evening. But I'm sure these guys are going to give us some fantastic action to talk about. So let's get you in the chat. Let's hear from you. Any questions you want to ask, let's get them answered. We can get them answered as quick as we can about the track, about the cars, about the racing. We can get that one to you as we can take a look at the grid order for the first time then. So Jean McLaughlin is your P1 overall at the minute from Tyler Guillemette, P2. Robert Schwenkler, P3 with Ken Copeland, P4. Tyler Manning, P5, and your leader in the open category. while Ian Carney is P6, leader of the Ben category. P7 is Martin Wallace, with Tyler Reid rounding out the top 8. P9 for Jacob Little, with Brandon Leonard in P10. Nolan Uke is P11, with Rui Farina P12. Joshua O'Connor P13. Ryan Silone in P14. Peter McDade 15th place, and Gene Kelly rounding out the top 16. 17th for Tanner Masters, and with Brandon Mateo P18. 19th place for Kyle Shelton. Chandler Baker is 20th place. 21st for Kyle Smith. 22nd for John Hicks. Louis Rios is 23rd, and 24th is Richard Davenport. And then rounding out the back of the grid, then P25 for Charles Boschel, with Billy Oul in 26th, and Rodney Campbell rounding out P27. So an interesting grid there. 27 drivers on it. Hopefully all 27 drivers take to the grid. I'm just looking at the timing screens here. We have got 2 that are not yet currently on the grid. I can tell that because their names are greyed out on my list. So they currently haven't taken to the grid at this stage of the race. So we'll just wait for them to before we get ourselves underway. Otherwise, they will miss the start of this one, and that's going to be a shame for them. So then, round 5 of the championship, going to be an interesting one. Any predictions on the overall winner? The overall winner, well, you can't look past McLaughlin at the minute. I think he had a great qualifying, but, you know, hot lap compared to race pace is going to be a different thing. Remember, the guys are limited to fuel, so they have got to pit for a bit of fuel in this race. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. But, yeah, McLaughlin, he's going to look winning. It's all going to be about who can stay out of the most drama early on in this race. I think for me, it's all about less what carnage occurs at the start. Full formation lap here. This is going to be an interesting one to see what's going to happen throughout the opener of this race. But Brands Hatch GP, are we a fan of this circuit? Are we not? I think this is one of Britain's finest circuit. And if we look at the iRacing tracks in the UK, I know Thruxton's just been added. That's an absolute belter. I think not Kills on here. That's a belter. Managed to visit there last year. That's a gorgeous place. Donington Park's number 1. That's my favourite. Has to be. Home circuit. That's got to be the best one on here. But Brands Hatch right up there. Right up there. It's a lot better than Silverstone. A lot better than Snetterton and Alton Park. And it just throws up good racing, does Brands Hatch. It just always seems to throw up a good race or two, especially if there's weather chucked in the mix. I think it's going to provide drama, thrills and spills literally tonight. I think we are going to see just some fantastic action around this track. I don't think we're going to see much more than that, really, or much less than that, should I say. I think the drama will be unreal tonight at the minute. So we're coming up towards Sheen Curve on the formation lap here, ready to get this race underway. And what a time it is at the moment. Down towards clearways. I'm interested to see what's going to happen at the start here. Paddock Hill Bend. Very easy to all end up in that gravel trap on the outside of Paddock Hill, turn number 1. Seen it many a time in British GT, British touring cars, many other forms of racing that come around here. But for round 5 of the championship, it's green and go here, and it's a great start from the third row of the grid. That light blue car really trying to have a look up the inside of the Acura, down in towards Paddock Hill. They go 2 by 2 down there. Back uphill they come now in towards Druids. Everybody looks like they've got through relatively cleanly through Paddock Hill Bend there. So nicely done into Druids now. If you can hold it around the outside, you could just give yourself some momentum down in towards Graham Hill Bend. As you see there, the Ferrari did, as we're on board with Copeland, who managed to get up ahead of the Acura. Now the Mustang of that of Gilmet is having a look at the inside of the Porsche. There's contact in Surtees, lap 1, and they're both around. And this is the drama that Brands Hatch can provide us with. And that is then McLaughlin and Gilmet both around at Surtees after the Mustang just shows the nose up the inside. We'll hopefully get a replay of that with a different angle, but it is now Copeland who leads in the Pro class, Manning leading in the Open class, Kearney still leading in that Ben class, but the Acura as well, now P2 in Pro. And I believe it's P3 on the road overall. The replay we can bring you now. And let's take a look at what happened here then on the helicopter shot as well. So a great camera angle for us to see. The Ford gets a mighty run out of Graham Hill. He's more than alongside there. And the Porsche just squeezed him too much. They both ran out of room. Sliding through they go. The Porsche rejoins, hopefully as safe as possible and just there. But that has pretty much ruined the start of both of their races early on in this one then. And we're on board now with Manning leading that Open class in dramatic fashion here. It has to be said already. We said it was going to cause some chaos at the opener here at Brands Hatch. More drama down the order. This is on board with little. Third place so far in that Open class. He's fighting with Tyler Reid in the other Ford Mustang. And he manages to just come out on top over one of the Porsches there. That is Ian Kearney then, who is leading in that Open class, just tumbling down the order a little bit. Nolan Uke is second place in Open, so he's got a bit of work to do to gain onto the back of the leader there. And there's more dramas. Just looking at the time screen, there's more dramas then at Surtees once again. Hopefully we can see what happened there as well. But Hicks moving up to P5 at the moment. There is 2x2 down Hawthorne's Hill in towards Hawthorne's corner for the second time. 45 minutes to go. We've had 2.5 minutes and there's dramas all around us here at Brands Hatch. Replay of what has happened. And who are we on board with here then? Look at it's Peter McCade in the yellow Ferrari in towards Surtees he goes. Just taps the rear of the Ferrari in front and it just unsettles him round. Everybody does really well to avoid McCade, who's in the middle of the road at Surtees. But yeah, you just see the Ferrari in front. It took too much curb at Surtees. It unsettled his car. He just tried to then brake to get that car settled back up once again. And it just caught out McCade behind, who is then unfortunately the victim of that one. But back towards the live action now. Brandon Matteo, 8th overall. And he's on the back of Kyle Smith. This is also for a class overtake in that Open category. On the back of Kyle Smith in his yellow Acura there then. The NSX with AWS down the side. Nice looking decal on that one. Here is Brandon Matteo in towards Surtees. That's a Porsche in front of him, so I'm not sure who he's chasing on track at the moment. Smith, we do believe it's Kyle Smith. In the it is Carl Smith. No, it is the Carl Smith Porsche. Sorry, in front of him. Sorry, I've read the car badges wrong on the typing screens there. It is Carl Smith. So that is for position just in front, and these two cars should really be decent around here. But Shelton behind in that Ford Mustang. He's going to have a thing or two to say. That is for sure. I'm pretty positive on that one. Come up through Sheen Curve once again. Lap 3, 4 minutes gone of a 45-minute race, and we've had so much drama here at Masters then, running in P4 in that Ben category. A man who's been on the podium a few times this season will be looking to get that race win on the back of Joshua O'Connor at the moment, so we want to try and get this move done. You can just see the other guys fighting in front, and yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to see for sure in this race. Here is then McLaren at the moment, P4 overall in the Pro category, is 9/10 off the back of the car he's 1.8 off the back of Wallace in category then in the other Porsche. That's a BMW in front of him as he's trying to come back through the field in this race, obviously based off that lap 1 incident. Tyler's still going round at the moment. Well, he's further back on the track. Tyler Gilmette actually has the fastest lap of the race. That's an interesting one to keep our eyes on here. There's McLaren coming through Hawthorns, chasing down the BMW. Here is Gilmette so far then, P1, and the only driver in the Pro Ben category, but he's going to be on a comeback drive. Great pace in qualifying. And it looks like he's got some good race pace as well, just pushing that car through Hawthorns, dropping a wheel onto the grass. And this is going to be an interesting one. Here is Carney in the beneficiary category, leader, and I believe has won every race this season if I'm not mistaken, is Kyle Smith has actually just dropped down 2 places in the open category for an off-track. So we'll keep our eyes on that one there. He's lost out 2 places. He's only just coming back on track, we're being told. So that is a big off-track there. We may have to take a look at a replay of that one. There he is, Kyle Smith. That's coming into Surtees now, so he's had a big off-track somewhere then. So where's this? Through Dingledale, back up the hill, in towards Sheen. Bouncing just onto the curb. He's okay through there. Now into... touched a wheel on the grass. That'll do it. A wheel onto the grass under the braking zone in towards Sterling's. And then as you can see, look, he's trying to reverse it out of the way to get the car turned right and back onto the circuit there. And that's what's cost him so much time coming through that part of the circuit. What a shame for him. He'll be kicking himself there. But it's so easy done around this Brands Hatch circuit. It is a tight, narrow track. So you've got to make sure that you get it done as soon as you possibly can. Peter McDade is in the pit lane in the Ben category. He's gone a lap down. He is circulating once again though, but has been in the pit lane. Chandler Baker has also been into the pit lane. I'm sure they're going to have to pit again. They're not going to be able to get to the end. But Jacob Little at the minute, who we're on board with, trying to hunt down Tyler Reid. 1 second off the back of him, but he's got Kearney in that open class right behind him, maybe tucking underneath now, as Little was very wide through that final corner of Clearways. And here comes Kearney up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. Remember, 2 different categories here, and Kearney will go up the inside of the Ford Mustang. Lovely move done there. Whoa, just seen that BMW sliding through. Look who's on the back of the train as well. Look, it is McLaughlin, your pole sitter from this race, on the back of this train of cars here. So trying to get back up through this this traffic and through the pack. We didn't get Rodney Campbell in, and he was the only driver. Joshua O'Connor is now in the pit lane as well, so he's making his stop 7.5 minutes into this race. That feels a little early for drivers to be pitting, but we'll see what happens come the end. This is then one of the Corvettes. This is Boschel down the order. Charles himself into P21, running car 21, P10 overall at the moment. Good move there through Druids. Lovely looking Corvette lovely livery on that Corvette, should I say, as well, as he comes in towards 30. He's got past one of the only Mercedes on the circuit. As there the Mercedes goes, I believe that is Billy Oul, who has had that off track there in the air. He's just had a big moment into Surtees there. Strange to see, but the Mercedes-Benz not being favoured in this category tonight in the GT3s here at Operation Motorsport. Here's Copeland, overall leader. Good lead in his category as well, 3 seconds ahead of Schwenkler in the Acura. He's got a good lead over that. Of Manning in second place who's the leader of the Open category. A real good spread out field here, and we've just kind of had a bit of calm now, and you feel that there's a bit of a calm before the storm when the pit stops happen. This is going to be an interesting stage of the race. McLaughlin then, 4th place. Here he is, look, right on the back then of Jacob Little, your overall pole sitter. He's going to look for a move up the inside in towards Surtees. Gets the job done. That's a lovely move. Maybe that's what he should have allowed the Ford Mustang to do with Gilmet at the beginning of the race. But that Ford Mustang flashing the lights there, maybe either complimenting his fantastic manoeuvre or maybe a bit disgruntled with what appeared to be a dive. I thought that was a great move. If people get a dive bomb, if people think that's a dive bomb, I think it's a fantastic move. Look, here we go. Through Graham Hill Bend, McLaughlin. Look at the momentum through Graham Hill he gets. And he's just going to flick this left. He's not fully alongside. I tell you what, well done. There you go. Little nudge wide. That'll explain why the Mustang was flashing the lights. So it is a disgruntled flash of the lights. And that is a frustrated, you'd like to say, McLaughlin. That's a move in frustration, that trying to get up the field as quick as you possibly can, knowing that time is already down to 35 minutes left in the race. He's trying to make up as much momentum as he can in this one. So let's see what else is happening out there at the moment. The BMW gaining on the back here of Little as well. This is Manning, your open class leader. Great lead, 3 seconds over Reid in the open category, and he's got a good gap behind him to Schwenkler in that Acura, who is second place in the pro category. A real good run of results here for Manning. Could hopefully propel him up this championship order a little bit. This will be an interesting one to see what will come in this race for him then. As through Hawthorns he comes for the 8th time. This is Carney once again. Won every race so far in that Ben category. He's been the man to beat. There was a Ford a little wide through Westfield. Down Dingle Dell, you come up towards Sheen Curve. Let's be greedy on the curb. Nicely done there from Carney, as he's doing exactly what he needs to do. Whoa, just kicking up a bit of grass there maybe. Very close to the edge of the circuit. This is what you've got to love about Brandt. The appreciation of how tight and narrow this is in certain sections for the drivers to get this right. A little bit of a blip there on the Wi-Fi. Hopefully the connection holds out for him. We'll jump back down to Gilmet then here, the leader and only driver in the Pro Ben category tonight. On the back of another Ford Mustang, looks to be a fellow team driver here in the Ford Mustang, Cal Shelton, I do believe, running that the green and grey. Quite similar, not too similar actually, now that we've just seen the rear of the car. Lovely shade of green though on these two, and Gilmet here, he's looking to try and come back through the field once again as well. Copeland's now got the fastest lap of the race with a 23.0. Look at these, side by side through Paddock Hill Bend, up in towards Druids. Gilmet is the car on the inside, you can tell because of the purple wing mirrors and end plates on the rear wing and the sun strip on the windscreen, as opposed to the red of Shelton in that open category. Wallace in a fight here. This is 3rd place, and this is Martin in brackets Bob Wallace I've got on the timing screen. Not sure why, but Martin Wallace then trying to fend off McLaughlin, who's on a charge. Oh no, yeah, he's back. Okay, little internet blip for Wallace there. He is back. That'll be a massive distraction for McLaughlin to see that car just disappearing a little bit, not doing the normal characteristics just due to that connection there. But McLaughlin, I tell you what, he's driving really, and I'm not going to say aggressive because aggressive isn't the right word, but hard and fast, and it's clean so far. He's only just nudged the Mustang out the way, but I'm sure he'll be disappointed with what happened at the beginning of this race. He's got pace though, is McLaughlin. Porsche San Diego car in towards Druids, and down to Graham Hill Bend. This is where he got the momentum last time around, through Graham Hill. Use that runoff, not too much, don't want to get an off track. You just see there he's not close enough this time around to have a proper look then at Wallace here, but he's trying, he's getting closer, he fancies this one. This would be a podium in category as well, so this would be an almighty result if he could come back for a podium in category. And what's Wallace? Wallace only 5 seconds off the leader, so not a million miles away, as Wallace a little wide through Westfields here. That'll just hurt him on his run down through Dingle Dell and up towards Sheen. A little wide again at Sheen, keeps it within the track limits, so all good at the moment. But a great run for McLaughlin. In this back half of the lap, he's absolutely put his foot down and is wanted to get on with this one. He's making sure he does the business in this race. You can't fault him at the minute. His pace has been pretty good. Bar lap 1, it was all good for him. Let's go back down towards Leonard then, who's the Acura on the back of Shelton in the open category. So let's see what the Acura can do over the Mustang. We know how good that Mustang is in a straight line. That Acura, it's just going to be nimble around here. It's nippy. The corners, the way this track is, not too many long straights, will really suit this Acura because it's the top speed that lets the NSX down. And this is going to be an interesting fight. This is on board with Brandon Leonard coming through Graham Hill Bend down towards Surtees we go. Lap 11, 15 minutes gone, half an hour left in the race. It's an interesting race at the moment. And our beneficiary spotlight, which will bring you in about 10 minutes, is that of Ian Kearney tonight, race winner in every Ben race this season. We're just seeing that Acura, just seeing there being able to just pull onto the back then. Speaking of Acuras, Farina is coming under pressure from Tanner Masters. Masters P3 in class at the moment, 10 seconds off the back of Yuka Kearney. And I'm sure we'll probably end up asking him the same question of what will it take to beat Kearney in this category? And he'll probably give us the same reply of, I just need to get more seat time in the car, which I think has been probably his most asked question this season. He's just lost out a little bit of time there to Farina on this lap. They've got Gilmet catching them at a rate of knots in the background here as well, can we just point out, as there goes Farina in that gravel, just could have cost him some momentum. Into Druids, Masters then massively outbrakes himself in towards Druids corner, and that's brought Gilmet straight onto the back of him now. I wonder if we'll have a repeat of lap 1 from Gilmet this time, who may get a run through Graham Hill Bench. See the grass getting kicked up. The Acura looks up the inside of that of the Ferrari. Gilmet watching on and seeing how it's done at Surtees, and the Acura gets through. That may have been an off track there then for Farina in the open category, because he did really drop off the pace and went really wide at Surtees, as if he was to let the Acura and Gilmet in the Mustang through. So up another couple of places, not in category but overall for these drivers. McLaughlin still within 7/10 of Wallace, but this is Gilmet at the moment on the back of Tanner Masters up towards Sheen Curvin, just proving how difficult Brands Hatch can be to overtake. You've really got to have the run on the car behind and get alongside before corner entry, otherwise you're not going to make this move done. And here's Gilmet having a look at Tanner Masters down in towards Clark Curve for the 13th lap, and great on the brakes there from the Ford Mustang up the inside of Tanner Masters. That's a beautiful move there, and he's just moving up another place, and he's picking them off one by one as they go so far. He's making a comeback, let's not forget, is Tanner Masters. Is Tyler Gilmet and that of McLaughlin. This is then on with the lead of the open category. Manning having a fight with Schwenkler, who is the car behind him, the Acura behind him, as they come down Hawthorns Hill. That looks like it's a lapped Porsche in front with no front end on that car, and the Acura really putting pressure on the McLaren Evo here, and look like he's going to box him in. The Acura, what a move through Hawthorns they go, and a bit of contact from Masters, and that's put Manning out of the lead of the open category. Reed is now the one who takes the lead of that, due to Manning there just tapping the back of Schwenkler. The Porsche right in the way here. I'm not sure if we can find out who the Porsche is at the moment, but it is really holding up this pack. There is no front bumper on that Porsche, so he's had a massive off somewhere. There's the Mercedes of Uhl then, Billy Uhl, who moves, I say he moves out of the way, he's now side by side with that said lap Porsche. Manning back up the inside of Reed at Paddock Hill Bend. We've got Kearney, the leader in the Bend category, in this fight as well, and the McLaren really flashing. The Porsche taps him round at Druids on the rear, and the Porsche goes round. It was a Bend category Porsche. I can only assume it was Chandler Baker in the way. That's the only Porsche I can see boring Kearney, and well, Manning was flashing and flashing and flashing. Did not get out of the way there, did Chandler Baker. Had plenty of opportunities, but that's put the second place man of Reed into prime position to attack Manning now. Kearney's there as well. McCall has just got third place over Wallace in that pro category. So there's a change for place. We've got drivers in the pits. Billy Uhl's in the pits. Boschel in the pits. Silone is in the pits as well. Billy Uhl off track there. Joshua O'Connor in the pit lane. So drivers now starting to make their pit stops as we approach the 20-minute mark. This is Manning then getting back up the inside of Tyler Reed. So you just see here, there is Billy Uhl in that red Mercedes. You've got Chandler Baker in the Porsche that's damaged on the front, and Manning late on the brakes. Reed kind of just left the door open, and if you're going to leave your door open like that, you're just inviting people up the inside. And we just missed the end of that. But look at Schwenkler here. This is at Hawthorns. What a move this was. Just get on the brake early, turns the car in, tucks underneath, boxes the... bit of a tap on the McLaren. Boxes the McLaren in with the Porsche. And then there was the contact of the McLaren onto the Acura there then. But I tell you what a move there. Just dropped it wide, braked, got it turned in, tucked underneath, the up and under, and boxed him in as Boschel leaving the pit lane, and a few drivers coming out of pits now. So easy to go a lap down here in the pits. So we'll keep our eye on this. But this is Tyler Reed now, who has lost out a bit of time to Tyler Manning. Manning's been able to pull away from him just slightly. Ian Kearney's with him. So this is going to be an interesting one to see what Ian Kearney can do. Obviously the open category leader. He's got a 10-second lead in the open class as well. So Sorry, in the Ben class, apologies. So he is absolutely fine. He's fighting those in the open class. And look like they're like Manning's just had a bit of a moment through Westfields because all of a sudden Reed had gained on him quite a bit there. There's a Corvette just in front who's a lap down. Not sure who that one is, but hopefully he does a better job of getting out of the way. It is an open class car, so it'll possibly be, in fact it is that, of Ryan Salone. So that is who is just in front, about to become a lap down. And here comes Kearney then. Not able to get alongside that Mustang as of yet. Through Paddock Hill Bend, back up at, wow, Manning aggressively there, flicking the car out to lap that what looks to be Lamborghini of John Hicks in the Bend category. That was an aggressive flick out to get up the inside at Druids, but he's had that trouble with the back markers last time round. Tanner Masters in the pits in the Acura, pulling the undercut maybe here, just while traffic's playing its part and just while the leaders are being held up and caught up in a few incidents. This could be a great strategy for Tanner Masters in this race. As Kearney is right, Tanner Masters actually in the Ben category, so he's got a lot of work to do to catch Kearney. But while Kearney's on the back of these two open leaders and there's traffic around, anything could happen at this Brands Hatch circuit. So up towards Sheen Curve, 16th lap. Here we go. That is the Corvette of Ryan Stallone, who is off. I do believe it was anyway. I do believe that's what I've just saw. Brandon Mateo has got past him there as he went off the track. We're just at the halfway stage of the race. So tonight's beneficiary spotlight is that of Kearney as he pulls into the pit lane. He is tonight's beneficiary spotlight. Resides in Ruskin, I presume FL is Florida. Was served in the US Air Force. A bit of a bio for Ian. He describes himself as an easygoing motorsport enthusiast, interested in all aspects of motorsport industry. He's looking to transition his experience in the sim leagues into real person events, so real life events. Well, I'll tell you what, if we ever get the chance to see this guy on circuit, what an honour that would be. But that is your beneficiary spotlight this evening. Ian Carney there then, who leaves the pit lane as we get it done. Served in the US Air Force and hopefully one day wanting to be on an actual grid. Well, Ian, everything is possible. Let me tell you that one, my friend. Anything can happen, and we wish you the best luck on your journey into getting into real world motorsport. Hopefully that one works out for you and you can successfully achieve your goal here. Tyler Manning then and Tyler Reid. What a fight this is in the open category for the lead of this as well. Manning pushing it close to the edge there. Drop a wheel on the grass there and that could spell good night. But the pit stop's going to be interesting, I think, in this category. Who's going to pull the undercut? What is the overcut going to look like? Are they going to pit at the same time? You kind of get an idea of who stays tight on pit entry out the final corner. Oh, that is Wallace, yeah, who's been overtaken by McLaughlin. He's now lost out to Kelly. He's had an off track. That is through Hawthorne's end. This is what happened then. So down Hawthorne Hill. This is going to be all on his own because there's nobody around him. And that's hard to know where a car is stationary. Yeah, too hot. Easy done at Hawthorne's. Carry too much speed in. Rear comes round. Just bounce off the wall a little bit. Not too hard to hit that. It's so easy to do at that corner. Just carry too much speed in and out of this this racetrack. Schwenkler here, by the way, he's got the gap down under 5 seconds. So just keep an eye on their lap times. It's going to be interesting to see now that he's got clear road. He's not got Manning in front of him. But Copeland has done a good stuff here. I say done good stuff. They drive for the wrong stuff and they're in the same team. So Copeland, at the moment, who lost 9/10 of a second last time out to Schwenkler. Going to be interesting to see. None of the pro category have pitted yet. Let's not forget this one. So, interesting one to keep our eyes on. As he doesn't pit again there, does Copeland. And what about Schwenkler through Clark Curve? You know if they're going to pit, they're going to hold it tight through that corner to dive into the pit lane. Very tricky pit lane entry here as well. It's kind of like a chicane on the entry into the pits. Battle for the open lead still rolling on here between Manning and Reid. And I believe down the order as well. Shelton's on the back of Farina. It's just dipped over a second there, so he's lost out a bit of time. But Reed here has not let Manning get away. Tyler Reed racing under the Operation Motorsport name against Tyler Manning. TMD Racing. It's a battle of the Tylers here in Kent today. 25 minutes gone, or 26 minutes gone, coming up to, as Manning's gone a little wide through Surtees. This could give Reed a run. The horsepower of the Mustang versus that McLaren 720S Evo should help the Mustang get alongside, but you can see there, did he get the momentum out of Surtees, backs out of it coming through Hawthorns, and Manning just living life on the edge at the moment. Tyler Reed really pushing that big car to its limits. Davenport in the pit in the Ben category, and Kearney was 13 seconds ahead of Masters after the round of pit stops there, but Uke still to pit in the Ben category. And I tell you what, look who's on the back of these two here. Is that of McCaulin, who dives into the pit lane. So he's come through the pack. There's McCaulin there then, about 5th, 6th place overall on the road at the moment. He's decided to come in for an undercut over the two ahead of him. Nice pit lane down the bottom of the track, and he's the first driver in Pro to pit as well. As that is Nolan Uke into the pits as well. The only BMW out there tonight, Rodney Campbell, didn't make the grid, so he's not in the BMW, but the leader of Ben in. And well, he's gone 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5, 6 seconds longer than what Kearney was, and it's still counting here for Nolan Uke. Wow! 12 seconds longer than Tanner Masters even. So that is a long pit stop. Tyler Reed has got past Manning. And there we go, look, Tanner Masters on the leaderboard there has got past Nolan Uke. So Tanner Masters is up into P2, and he's only 7 seconds off the back of Kearney at the moment, but change for the lead in open. Reed ahead of Manning. Can Manning do anything about that? Them two still to pit in this race. In fact, the whole top 6 are ahead. This is what happened and how Reed got past Tyler Manning then. So through Graham Hill into Surtees. We saw that Manning was a little wide at Surtees last time around. Same again, little wide, little loose on the rear mid-corner as well. And Manning, Reed this time on the throttle, powers down the straight. Manning in, Little in, Gilmet in. So a lot of drivers into the pits. McLaurin has already got past Gene Kelly, and that was an overtake on track. But Manning into the pit lane, Gilmet in the pit lane, as is Jacob Little, as is Kyle Shelton then. So all coming into the pits this time around. Schwenkler is gaining on that of Copeland at the moment. Gap is down to 3.5. Schwenkler just taking a couple of tenths each lap out of that leader's battle here. Sorry, screen froze for just a moment, but we are back. 29 minutes gone, so just under 16 minutes left in this race. Kyle Shelton leaving the pits now. So Tyler Reed, Rui Farina left to pit in open. Ken Copeland, Schwenkler still to pit in pro. And then in Ben, it is only Louis Rios who is still to pit in this one then. No retirements in this race, which is great. Oh no, sorry, we have lost one driver, Carl Smith, we've lost from this race. Billy Hull is on his way out of the pit lane then. And Schwenkler pulls the undercut. He's into the pit lane. So let's keep our eyes on what this stop will be. McLaurin was 13.6. I don't think he's in this battle for the overall race lead. But Schwenkler been taking time out of Copeland each lap. 13.2. So for Ken Copeland, he's got to have a good stop here if he's to just open that gap back up to Schwenkler a little more. Farina in, so Manning moves back up to second place. Tyler Reed's done his stop. That was 15.0 seconds. He gained a second there over Tyler Manning, so Reed extends that lead. This is on board with Copeland then. 30 minutes gone in this race. I believe Copeland is now, him and Louis Rios are the only two drivers yet to come into the pit lane. Ian Kearney's got a gap of 8 seconds back to Tanner Masters. So that's pretty, pretty done there. Tyler Manning's got, Tyler Reid's got Tyler Manning around a second to him. So that's pretty tight and nervy there. Gilmet, obviously, we know is the only one in Pro Ben. And Kyle Copeland is staying out, has a 30-second lead over Schwenkler. And there is Uke into the pits. Rios is leaving pit lane now. Billy Ool is in again. Brandon Mateo in the pits as well. That's Copeland. I tell you what, he's not slowing down at all, is he? Fastest lap of the race. The only man into the 22s at the minute. So he's answering back to Schwenkler here. But he's got to be running this strategy tight because he's got to come in for fuel. There's only 13 and a half minutes left in this race. Here is Schwenkler in the Acura. Love to see an Acura win this season. Has to be done, I think, to try and get one of them to win the race outright as well, I think, this season. So just looking at the gaps, Kearney's now started to pull away from Tanner Masters. Tyler Reid, 1.5 to Tyler Manning. It is just this Copeland and Schwenkler battle. Although Wallace is on the back. No, he's not on the back of McLaren, sorry. He's on the back of another car, but not McLaren at the moment. This is Kearney. Here comes Copeland. And actually, I've just told you a lie, because on other platforms and other games that I have seen, the pit entry has got a little chicane, but on iRacing here, the barriers aren't there to make the chicane up in the pit lane. It's a straight entry into the pits. So, pretty easy for the drivers. I was talking utter nonsense. Normally they've got some like red and white barriers that form a little chicane. Wow, quick stop, 10.6 in and out, job done. And Ken Copeland, who gains 1.5 seconds over Schwenkler in the pit lane. Well, Schwenkler's closing that gap as Copeland gets back up to speed, but Schwenkler 6 seconds off the back of him. That is a heck of a stop from Copeland there. And that has put him really in the box seat now, you have to say, for this race. That was an immense pit stop. Absolutely immense there from the young man. What a race he's had as well. You know, got, I wouldn't say gifted the win, but he was gifted the lead. That is for sure, as we're on board with Copeland now, who just puts a lap on one of the Ben category cars. He was definitely gifted the lead by the front two taking each other out. Gifted the win, no, because he's done a fine job to stay in that lead. There was Nolan Uke. Here's Jacob Little. P3 and open. There's Kearney on the back of him then. I believe that was Gilmet just in front as well. So Kearney at the moment. P1 in Ben. He's got a 10-second lead now back to Masters. We've got just over 11 minutes left to go in this race. Don't forget to speak to a few of the drivers at the end of this one as well, as we prepare to head to, I believe it's Watkins Glen next week. That should be another absolutely quality race again. One of America's better circuits, if you ask me, Watkins Glen. Right up there with Indianapolis. That's probably tricky. It's probably my favourite American circuit. We don't have COTA, which is an absolute thankful that we don't have that one. I always find COTA a little dull to commentate on. And then we've got the two new circuits that I'm brand new with. I was speaking with Jonathan off air, the Canadian circuit and then Virginia Raceway. Don't know anything about them. They are going to be an absolute learning curve for myself, but the little video I watched on iRacing's website before today, they looked interesting circuits. Can't wait to see the GT3s go around there. Here is Little then, who's got Kearney just behind him, not for category positions, just overall racing on the circuit. And this is what you've got to love about this Operation Motorsport series. What a group of people these are, especially for the beneficiaries, you know, for ex-servicemen. It's a real honour to commentate on this one, and a privilege to speak to some fantastic people. Even as a Brit, you can obviously appreciate the work that they have done for their country. And now they're doing some fine work on the track. This is Copeland going up the inside of one of the beneficiary BMWs. That, I believe, is Davenport. Yep, Davenport, Richard Davenport. He's just put a lap on. And there you see the lap by lap performance. Schwenkler. Don't be impressed that he was 21 seconds quicker on lap 23. That's when Copeland was in the pit lane. Vice versa, actually, from lap 21. But you've just seen it, just ebbing and flowing between the two. Gap around 6.5 seconds. That's how it will remain. This is on board with Brandon Leonard in the Acura, the black and silver. Red Bull. Livery down the order. I just got a glimpse of the bull there. Not a fan. On the back of the Ford Mustang here of Shelton, for position 5th and 6th in that open category. They come through Paddock Hill Bend up towards Druids once again. Shelton a little deep at Druids here, not going to be able to get the optimum line through that one, but he manages to bring it back in, hook it all together. This could be an interesting fight between these two. This is for 5th and 6th in this open category. Ahead of Matteo by quite the margin. They're not a million miles away from Farina in the Ferrari. Oh, I've just been told Road America. Is Road America on the calendar? Oh, it's not. It is a great American circuit. That's Jonathan, who's our producer tonight, just in the chat there. Road America. That is up there with Indianapolis and Watkins Glen. That's in my top 5 American circuits. Yeah. You guys can't hear Jonathan, but Indianapolis, yeah. Not the oval, the race circuit. It's a beautiful track. I think it's one of my favourites. Daytona, I'm a big Daytona fan. Daytona fan is the Acura here, tucking underneath through 30s. Great run through the final corner here for that of Leonard. And couldn't get the move done. That's just that Acura not having that straight line speed. Really gained momentum through the final corner. Late on the brakes into the rear slightly, and another up into the rear there of Shelton and the Acura. A battering ram onto the Ford Mustang there. And these two are going to go at it again. And they've got one of the open class cars behind them. But Leonard at the moment just trying to put the pressure on Shelton a little bit more. Gap out front is over 7 seconds now in the Pro class. Gap in open between Reed and Manning. That is 3 seconds. This is Little and Kearney then. Speaking of Kearney, 12-second lead in that open category. And for Gilmet, he has won the Pro Ben category. No other driver was in that Pro Ben tonight, sadly. So he will be race winner in that one. And Jacob Little here in the Ford Mustang, just fending off that of Kearney at the moment. Kearney's had some great pace all season. He's really been an interesting guy to watch all season long. He's been fantastic. He's put some of the top drivers in these categories to the sword, and has really made them work hard for their positions on the track. Here he is. We're watching on. You see that Ford Mustang of Little just in front, coming through Westfields now. Lap 29 into that final 5 and a bit minutes. Duke in the BMW, just noticed, is in the pit lane. Was running P3 in category. He's now into the pits. Let's see how long this stop is. He's been in there for over 19 seconds. This is the second time he's been in the pit. So what a shame for Uke. He's had an off track. We're going to try and find a replay and see if he's had a moment. There we go then. Let's take a look here. That's through Dingle Dell. Bit of an off track. Comes back on. Oh, big moment. Big slide. That's going straight to the wall. Bang. Yeah. Easy done through Sheen. You start to lose the rear through Sheen. You're going one direction. That is fully to the right into that wall. That's probably why he was in the pits. This is down with Louis Rios then. He has got John Hicks right behind him in the Lamborghini. Not seeing many Lamborghinis out there, but John Hicks giving it full beans in that Lamborghini Huracan. And I believe that is Tyler Reid, who is a lap ahead on the back. He'll be getting frustrated here with this traffic. There's a little fight here opening up in the bend category, and this is for P4 and 5. And you see now Tyler Reid taking that high side in towards Paddock Hill Bend, gets past that of Hicks, and he'll now have to deal with Louis Rios as they come up towards Druids. Tyler Manning is now in the pit lane. So what has happened to what was race leader and second place on the road? And he had an off track. This is Paddock Hill Bend. All good through there. There's Gilmet just up front. Into Druids. He's gone deep a little bit. Pulls it back in. No problems through Druids. Down in towards Graham Hill Bend. Yeah, he's still in the pit lane, so he's now dropped down to P5 in category. It's a huge stop for Tyler Manning. Something has gone wrong there. What has gone wrong? Unsure at the moment, but that is the man who was second overall for a certain stage percentage of this race is now going to be only P6 in class, and if he's not, if he doesn't get it the hurry on, could lose out to Billy Ool here. Still in the pit lane, counting away over 50 seconds. Well, that's his day done, Tyler Manning, you have to say. And Ool is only 1 minute 40 behind him as them seconds now start to tick down. This is going to be an interesting one. Here is Copeland, though, with 3 minutes 10 seconds left on the clock. Pitch perfect today. Not put a foot wrong at all in this race. Got the lead. Through a bit of good fortune, admittedly, but he got the lead and he has not looked back since. I tell you what, then, McClure, P3, he's only 6 seconds off the back of Schwenkler. He has been driving the absolute nuts and bolts off that Porsche. He's really given it everything it's got here today, and I'm sure this isn't the last we're going to see in McClure in this race. I'm sure we're going to see him back and fighting strong next week at Watkins Glen. Tyler Manning is out the pit lane, by the way. 1 minute 17 it took Tyler Manning in the pit lane. That is a huge stop for Tyler Manning. Billy Ool is about a lap behind him, just about. So final lap, we start now. Copeland takes the white flag with a minute 12 on the clock. And Copeland, who has been, like we say, inch perfect all night long. In what is the evening time in America, early hours of the morning here in the UK, but it doesn't matter what time it is, it hasn't stopped him from performing at his absolute best. He's been magical tonight. It's been great to watch. There was that session in the middle where maybe Schwenkler was catching him, and maybe you thought, could Schwenkler do it? Not to be. Robert just spent too much of the early part of the race behind Manning and a few other cars that cost him time. But Ken Copeland on form here. What a drive this has been from him. Absolutely fantastic. In towards Sheen. Sterling's left to go. And then Clark Curve and Clearways. As Uke has moved up to P5. Brandon Leonard, I believe, has just gone grey on my time screen. He's not sure why. But either way, Copeland into the final corner now. Puts a lap on the Porsche. He's going to win once again here in the Pro category. And wins overall at Brands Hatch for round 5 of the Operation Motorsport Series. Great stuff from him. Schwenkler will take a good P2 in the Acura there. Solid race from him. McLawn, what could have been, I suppose, but P3 on the road. Solid comeback drive for the Porsche. Tyler Reid, the only man with a flash of the light so far, comes across the line. P1 for him in the open category. Solid stuff. Here comes Gilmet. Again, another good comeback drive from him. P1 and the only driver in the Pro Ben. And then we just wait for Kearney, who crosses the line. Race winner yet again in the beneficiary category. McLaren P3 in Pro, Little P2 in Open. Davenport on the podium in Ben as well. The second place will be that of Tanner Masters, who crosses the line now. But a solid night worth of racing. And a few donuts for Kearney here at Brands Hatch to kick off an absolute, or to end, should I say, an absolute fantastic race for all these drivers throughout this one. What a day here at Brands Hatch. Been an absolute pleasure to bring you the broadcast once again, and we'll get some driver interviews going. We do have Richard Davenport waiting in the wings, so we're going to bring him in straight away, and we can speak with Richard now. It's P3, Richard, for the beneficiary category for yourself. Just talk us through a little bit about your race.
Yes, sir. So pretty astonished to be here. I don't talk to y'all very often, but I don't know. I really like that track, and I guess some people were struggling with the track. Not that I didn't have my own struggles, and wound up P3, and pretty happy about it.
Yeah, pretty happy about it. And one of the only BMWs out there to get on the podium this season. You enjoy the Brands Hatch circuit. What is it about Brands Hatch that you enjoy?
I think it just has, if you can find it, it has a pretty nice flow to it. You know, I wasn't super fast or anything like that, but there is a rhythm to the track, and if you can catch yourself in that groove, it's really fun to drive.
Indeed it is. The British roller coaster, they like to call it. I'm sure you found it up and down tonight. You've said there that you wasn't the fastest, and you got into a nice rhythm, and that's really what racing's all about, isn't it? Just finding that rhythm, finding that flow, just putting in the laps. Sometimes the fortune will go your way and you'll pick up places.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think that's usually the case, and I treat the racing and my photography the same way. I try to improve something every time I race or every time I go out and take photos, and so that's just, I guess it paid off finally. I don't know.
We head back to the States next week. Watkins Glen is our destination. Looking forward to that one? Yeah,
I was running pretty good there. I think I was P2 last season as a beneficiary there, and my internet cut out. And so I'm pretty optimistic about that track. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, there'll be that nervous moment where you keep your eye on the internet, and hopefully it all stays for you. Anybody you'd like to thank lastly tonight?
Oh, of course, always Opmo for having us. And, as a beneficiary of Opmo, it even means more to me. Ian is one of the guys I race with and who helped get me started with racing. And Nolan, also a good friend of mine who's given me a lot of pointers and advice. So I'd say those people.
Richard, congratulations on the P3. We'll let you get back to it.
Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night.
You too. Richard Davenport there, P3 overall. And we can now speak with, let's get Tanner Masters. Let's go 3-2-1. Tanner Masters joins us in the booth now. Tanner, I think we say this every time we speak to you. It's P2. It's a great result for the Acura. But what have you got to do to beat Ian?
Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, we put in the practice today. Actually, this whole week we put in some practice, put in some really good laps. And still, I think the closest we got to him was 7 seconds. And I think that might have been the closest that we've gotten to him all season. So I'm not really sure.
Either way, second place is a great result for yourself, regardless of who the winner is. The Acura just looked really good tonight.
Yeah, I loved it. Like we said last week, I love Brands Hatch, and I'm having a blast with the Acura, so putting the two together, I couldn't say anything more about it. It was an amazing car. It really likes the track, I think.
Watkins Glen next week. Do you think the Acura will go well there again? Similar to Brands Hatch, not many straight lines in terms of length. So a good place really for the Acura to show its skills through the corners.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it'll do great at the Glen. My only concern is going to be that long straight, and if we get in a battle with any of the Mustangs, because the Mustang was my secret weapon last season against Ian. So I'm curious to see how it'll affect me now that we don't have one. So I'm curious to see that one straight too.
And finally, Tanner, anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Tonight is going to be Opmo. Definitely a big shout out to Operation Motorsport for everything they've been doing for us, and actually Trophy AI, because well, except for this week, but every other week Trophy AI has been on par with my practice sessions. But unfortunately, the Acura didn't have anything in Trophy for the brands. But thanks to those guys as well.
Well, Tanner, P2 overall. We'll see you at the Glen next week. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And we said we'd go 3-2 on. So let's bring Ian into the booth, who once again a race winner in the Ben category. And Ian, I'd say you're making it look easy, but it's far from that with the fact that you're having so many fights with all the different categories.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing my best to have a good overall finish. I'm having a ton of fun with these guys out here on the track. This one is especially an especially tough track to race on today. It's a lot of long, sweeping, fast turns, weird apexes. It's a technical exercise, in my opinion.
You seem to deal with it very well, though. Very technical, like you say there, but you seem to gel with the track pretty good. Would you agree?
I just started driving this track yesterday about 1 p.m. Eastern, and I think I've done about 75 laps over the last 24 hours. I think my team being there to help run some laps with me, so I'm not just out there out lapping, has definitely helped me to be able to come up to speed quite quickly on this track. It's very frustrating though, because I'm not very consistent on this track. I'll fluctuate 1.5 seconds a lap, but keeping it on course is my main focus. I'm not trying to set any records here.
Exactly. The main goal, I suppose, at the end of the day is to win them races and win that category, which you seem to be doing fantastically this season. It's another win yet again. We head to the Glen next week, Watkins Glen, for round 6, coming to that back end of the season. Are you going to try and keep up that record of winning all the races that's possible to you?
I mean, how couldn't I, right? I mean, if I'm not going out there and doing my best, then what am I doing? Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to Watkins Glen. That's definitely a little bit more amicable track for me. I've got a lot more experience on it, and I think it's the full boot if I'm not mistaken. So
I believe so.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
Finally, anybody you'd like to thank overall tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Operation Motorsports, CrowdStrike, Michelin, Trophy AI, you guys up there in the booth, Apex Racing TV for broadcasting, and all the competitors out here that really put this thing on. And you know, I just can't. I look forward to this every week, and there's nothing more to say than that.
Ian, pleasure once again. We'll see you at Watkins Glen next week.
Thank you.
Ian Coney there then with the Ben race win. Let's get the Pro Ben winner in. Tyler Gilmet will join us now in the only Pro Ben driver out there, Tyler. I suppose the real question to ask you is, talk us through lap 1.
You know, I haven't really seen the replay yet. I felt like I was pushed to the grass a little bit, you know. It's one of those racing deals. I got to play the second to last to fifth challenge tonight and succeeded there, so hey.
It was an interesting comeback though. You was carving your way through the field pretty nicely there. There was some nice moves that we got to saw on the broadcast.
Yeah, you know, I would have liked to be up front battling the guys, but it is also fun seeing what I can do to try and make positions back up after, you know, something happens, because it's not the first time this season. Definitely sweaty. Yeah, it was still fun in the end.
How did you find the Ford Mustang here at Brands Hatch tonight? Obviously, the Ford, we know it can be really useful on them longer straights where it can unleash its power. Not really much of that here at Brands Hatch. So how did you find the Mustang?
Yeah, you know, I struggled in practice leading up to tonight, and I just decided to run a bit more downforce than some of the other guys, because I noticed on the straights they would pull away, but I would smoke them through the corners. So, you know, I decided at Brands, a little extra downforce would probably pay off, and I think it did.
Yeah, it looked like it did for you tonight. Watkins Glen next week. Should be a little bit better for the Ford Mustang. What do you expect you can do there?
Yeah, you know, I'm really looking forward to Watkins Glen. Hopefully Greg is back, my competitor in class. and we can put on a nice battle, it's always good there. I find that track kind of like home. So we'll see what we can pull out next week.
And finally, anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, as always, thanks Apex for being the broadcast for us. Thanks Operation Motorsport for everything they do for the veterans. Our sponsors, Trophy AI, Michelin, CrowdStrike. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to do things like this. So very appreciated, and all the beneficiaries really love it.
Tyler, congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. And we can bring in overall race winner Ken Copeland in now. And Ken, I suppose fortunate to get the lead, but you did a great job in terms of keeping it.
Yeah, that was somewhat unexpected. Very, very quick. I was expecting to take a couple laps. It's a short track, let the tires get nice and warm, and then the Red Sea kind of parted for me. So I figured I'd take it and run with it.
And it was an interesting sort of fight behind as well, because we saw there that we had Tyler Manning was second place overall in the open category. Behind you, Robert Schwenkler was then in third place in the iCareer. They was fighting each other, and it kind of allowed you to just extend your gap over these guys.
Yeah, things kind of panned out pretty well. Once I got a little bit of a gap, I just focused on being smooth, being consistent, watching lap times, just trying to manage the gap, see what I could do. I saved a little bit of fuel. I think I went 1 or 2 extra laps over Rob, but otherwise it was uneventful, which was the plan here. I haven't raced GT3 at Brands before. I will say I kind of prefer it in the slower cars, a little bit more interesting, but otherwise good race.
Yeah, I have to say that you did seem to lose a bit of time to Rob in that sort of middle stint of the race, but then after the pit stop into the 122s, real quick lap, that kind of showed your intent of, making sure that gap stayed as it was.
Yeah. Once I realized I had a little bit of a gap to play with, I over-saved so that I could do a couple push laps just to see where the car was at, how the tires felt, see what I could extract from the car. My quality lap wasn't hot, but it was good enough, so there's a little bit of experimentation, but me and Rob are always in comm, so we can kind of chat up, see how each other are doing. He knew I was lifting pretty hard, so all in good fun.
All in good fun. Watkins Glen next week. It's been another win tonight. Can you carry on this good form into Watkins Glen?
We're going to find out. I honestly don't know if I've driven a mid-engine GT3 at Watkins, so we'll see if I get out of shape or not. I'm normally a front-engine guy, but we'll see if we can keep the streak going.
And finally, anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you guys, you do a wonderful job week in and week out. I know Jonathan's always in the background, it seems like. Matthew, you do a wonderful job broadcasting week in, week out. Like I said, so thank you so much for putting the broadcast on. Thank you to Operation Motorsport, the good they do, all the drivers and the beneficiaries that come out, and also the people that I keep forgetting week in and week out, but this time I will not. Trophy AI and CrowdStrike both sponsor the series, so thank you so much for supporting the league. Appreciate it. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you for the kind words. Ken Copeland, then, your race winner in pro and overall. Ken, we'll see you next week.
Alrighty, y'all have a good one.
You too, as we then head towards the final couple of races of the championship. Then we'll run through that calendar once more, and as we know, it is Watkins Glen next week for round 6 of the season before heading to Road America for round 7. Road America is on the calendar, there we go. Then we head over to Canada for the for round 8 of the season, and Virginia for the final race of the season on April 1st of that championship. So what a season it has been. The final classifications then on screen at the moment. It was Ken Copeland who won from Robert Schwenkler, John McClawn in P3 with Tyler Reid P4. Tyler Gilmet was P5 in your winner. Tyler Reid, winner in Open. Tyler Gilmet, winner in Pro. Ben. Jacob Little, P6, second place in the Open category. Ian Kearney, winner once again in the Ben category. Tanner Masters, second place in Ben, P8 overall. Rui Farina was P3 in Open, P9 overall. Kyle Shelton rounded out the top 10. 11th place for Brandon Leonard in P11. Richard Davenport was P12 with Louis Rios. Nolan Uke, Tyler Manning in the top 15 after a long pit stop. Don't know what happened to Tyler Manning. That's the interesting thing to see why he dropped off the podium. John Hicks was 16th with Peter McDade, 17th place. Gene Kelly in 18th with Brandon Mateo and Billy Uhl rounding out the top 20. Chandler Baker 21st with Martin Wallace 22nd. Charles Boschel was 23rd with Ryan Salone in 24th. Joshua O'Connor 25th. Kyle Smith 26th. And we sadly didn't get to see Rodney Campbell take the start of the race. He was down in 27th. And that was your final classification for tonight's race here at Brands Hatch. And what a night's worth of action it has been. We head to Watkins Glen next week as we enter the final 4 races of the season. I myself will be bringing you the broadcast live back on then. But if you are watching on the Apex Racing TV channel, you will be in for a treat this week. We've got plenty more action in store for you, so make sure you don't miss any of that action. And we'll be back here at Operation Motorsport on Tuesday evening for you guys in America next week. I will be back on the Apex channel Thursday, early hours of the Thursday morning here in the UK. So if you want to join me for that one, make sure you tune in for that one. I'll be on the channel then. Can't remember who with. Only got drafted in tonight, if you will. But Brands Hatch, what a showcase it has put on. Lap 1 dramas as always, and it provided us with such great action. Watkins Glen next. Will we get more of the same here? Can anybody stop that of Carney in the Porsche? It is going to be an interesting end to the season, that is for sure. Thank you to Apex Racing TV, Operation Motorsport, Trophy AI, CrowdStrike and Michelin, the sponsors of the series. Jonathan was in the production room who brought you all the camera angles, great shots and replays tonight. And thank you all for tuning in and watching. We'll see you in a week's time. Goodbye.